Good evening, everyone. We will start the meeting. We're on time. We've actually got three members of the public, which is 3 times more than we normally get. So thank you for coming, the 3 of you. Apologies for absence.
I have Councillors Beresford, Taylor, County Councillor Collar and District Councillor Beanie.
Well, Nigel, got that on.
Yep.
His car's in the shop.
Declarations of interest. Does anyone have any? No? Right, we'll move on to item 3, which is to receive a nomination for co-option as a parish councillor. You all have a biography for Michael Innes, who is here, so don't say anything horrible, right? Yeah.
Feel free.
No, Paul and I had Paul. Clive and I had have the advantage of having met and spoken to Michael, and we are both certain that he would be an ideal person to actually join the parish council. I can say no more than that. You've read the biography. Any comments? Would you like to ask Michael any questions? He's here.
I found the biography very suitable, favourable and appropriate, so I'm certainly in favour.
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoyed that.
Christian?
Yeah. I'm
Nothing?
quite excited reading that, actually.
Yeah. Yep. And Chris?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's.
Right, at that point, what I'd like to do is to ask for a show of hands then on, and I'll put mine up. I don't normally as chairman. Did you hear that? Sorry, that's Michael Innes.
Oh yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes, I read
Yeah.
the biography, yes.
Yes,
And,
yes, right.
Yes. I'm sorry I'm late, everybody.
Don't worry.
That's all right.
It's all right.
A bit
Right.
busy at work today.
Crazy today.
Right.
Michael, I'll stand up. On behalf of Parish Council, you've obviously heard. We would like you, if you would, to take a seat this evening
I must say I'm
and
very
join
pleased
us.
with all the selection, and I hope I make a very viable and positive contribution.
Well, you'll see in 2 minutes.
Right.
2 minutes why I said you're the man for the job.
That's all right. Be on the kids' table
2
now.
minutes, you'll
Thank you
see.
very much.
Right.
No, I printed this. You can share it with them.
Right, you have minutes of the previous meeting, sorry, which was the,
Oh, what minutes were you?
We've got a minute,
The
sorry.
agenda.
Thank you very much. It feels so long ago.
right, no, it's the minutes of the AGM,
Yes.
right? There are 2 items that, we've got them first. Are they a true, yeah,
There's a great deal on them.
there isn't. There's just 2 things on there. We were waiting for an invoice from Kent Highways for 2,500 for the 20 mile an hour zone, which is still not coming, so we haven't paid for that. And our clerk was looking at renewing, and I confirmed that we did renew with Hiscox for £5,205, as was discussed at the meeting, and we've only renewed for 1 year, so we have an option to look round next year at whether that is the best place to go.
Is that liability insurance?
Yes.
Because they're specialists in it, I used to use them.
There's a great deal. I mean, I can circulate the schedule. There's a great deal of
No,
different
I
items.
follow.
Has anyone else got anything to raise on those? Do we not have to propose those and
Yes.
accept them? Yes,
Yes.
well, I thought, yes. So if I could have a proposer for those, please. Christian and a seconder. Yes, Patrick. He's closest. I could see you. Right. Updates from the minutes. As I say, I've run through the 2 points which aren't on tonight's agenda, and there's nothing else on there that anyone wants to bring up. Thank you.
It's a quick one.
We're going to. Sorry.
1 hour, wasn't it? 1 hour.
Sorry, you had a quick question.
No, I said this was a really quick meeting.
Oh,
That's
thank
why.
you. Right. Reports. PCSO policing.
I haven't had anything come in from the business, so I didn't remind her, I have to say. So.
Right. District and county councillors. Thank you. One and only, but well done.
I will do both,
Yes.
seeing on the district council and the county council. So I'll start with the county council first, as that's the most the senior one of the two. Last week, between the 6th and 12th of June, was Carers Week. And I just thought I'd remind you about Carers Week. Within and this is for adults as well as young persons. And especially concentrating on young persons. Within Kent there are 10,000 young carers around that we know about. We think there are 30,000 other young carers that we don't know about. So all it is basically, these hidden carers, they need to become forward to Kent County Council. If you know anyone that is doing a caring job, please do it, because there is a system there within KCC. So we know of 10,000, but please, if you do know anyone who's a young carer, please tell us.
Young is, what is young?
Anyone, 14 and above.
Yes, sorry,
Up
up to
to
20, that's what I meant.
45.
Up to 18.
That's very young, right.
So it's the young
Thank
people
you,
looking
yes,
after
yeah.
parents, grandparents,
18 to 40.
whatever. So it's basically 14 to 18.
Yeah, thank you.
The young ones.
Yep.
And that's what we're trying to concentrate on, because they're the people who don't actually understand what is available for them to do. Secondly, you probably saw about it a couple of weeks ago. There was Operation CC, spelled capital C-E, capital C-E, whether I pronounce it right or wrong. And this was an operation by KCC Trading, who basically concentrated within Dover, and they were after illegal cigarettes and illegal vaping machines, or vaping things. Happened over 2 days. 4 retail premises were raided, 2 private premises, and 2 vehicles. Surprisingly, they found 15,400 cigarettes, illegal cigarettes, which were taken into care as such, 10 kilograms of tobacco and 400 vapes, and 1 car. So it's just, it just shows you a small, 4 premises, and that's what they were able to raid within that. So please be aware that, around, this is just Dover, it's nowhere else. Please be aware that there are these organisations going on, and we are trying to counter them. And finally, Everyday Active campaign. This is something that used to be called Kent Sport, and it's basically trying to encourage active outside training within Kent at no costs. And if you really want to look at it, the website is www.everydayactivekent.org.uk. And don't worry, I'll send you notes to attach to the minutes. So please don't take notes, because I'll do it tonight. That's okay.
Everydayactive.co.what?
Everydayactivekent.org.uk. But I will send it so it's attached to the notes. So it's far easier if I do it that way, rather than doing that. So that's really the Kent side. Are there any questions as me as a KCC?
I'm sorry, I have a question about young carers, if it's appropriate now.
Very far away.
Are you in touch with the SMART project now?
Yes.
What to tell us?
Yes, I do SMART,
Okay.
because I'm community within DDC. Yes,
Absolutely fine. They're largely supported by Dover Rotary, and they do a pretty good job.
They do a very good job. But that's more, they more concentrate with our Dover community team, don't they? Although KCC sponsor them.
Yeah, well, yes, that is say Dover Rotary Club also sponsor them.
Yes.
Roger Bolton knows all about it.
No, I've just come from a meeting with Roger, so yes, I do know about that.
Good.
Nothing else for Kent, Chair? No? Can I go on to the district? Now, I'm doing this on behalf of both Mark and David, so I really don't know what your local issues are, so I'd say, can I avoid local issues? Right, I'll take them if you want any questions and relay them on, but there are basically two things we have to say at the moment. First of all, community grants. We have quite a big pot of community grants this year, which is £200,000. And the grants range from £100 to £4,000. And this is probably the last year we're going to do it. We did it last year, 200 grand. The year before was 100 grand. This is probably the last year we were doing it over the summer and winter grants. At the moment, not a lot of people have actually applied for it. There's about 6 £70,000 people applied for, over 31 organisations. There's only a week to go. So please put it wide and things. We are trying to do it for this year specifically. We're trying to do it for the not the regular people who also always apply. It's for the smaller ones that are scared of applying. So if you go onto the website, there's a very good YouTube video, and also we've got an officer up there called Elliot Allen, who is prepared to talk to people through it, because a lot of thing with grants is people are scared of actually filling out the forms, and they all believe that there are professionals who fill out the forms, and that's what we're trying to avoid on this round, is that just phone up and we'll ask you how to fill out the form. We'll talk you through filling out the form.
Right.
But you've got a week to do it, and that's the only thing, Chair, sorry, that's about
Yeah.
it. It finishes on the 20th.
I was going to ask one question, and the preschool that we spoke to that were tottering on were struggling, would they qualify?
They would definitely qualify.
I
And
wondered
exactly the
whether-
same as with my DDC hat on up at St Margaret's. I was up there last night at Parish Council, and they got a problem with this preschool as well. But yes, please do.
Yeah, I'm just thinking
It's definitely worth doing it.
They-
And it's not just because the buildings are falling around, it's for a project. So if they can complete a project within a year, that's what it's about. So if they want to build an extension, it can be done in a year or do something.
they're really struggling to make ends meet. They're losing
Yes, I know.
members of the
Yeah.
committee, etc.
Yeah.
And it's just that they possibly could.
But it's worth something they're investigating. Please
Right.
do. And they've got
Right.
to investigate quite quickly, unfortunately. So
Yeah, that's what I-
When is the deadline for
20th of May.
20th of
They-
May?
If they
Oh,
find-
20th of June, sorry, 20th of June.
Do you know when I'm there, Chris?
12 noon,
Christian?
12 noon on 20th.
Do you know anybody there? I know Andrew and I have had discussions, but that lady's moved on.
Well, I've got Katie Tuck's details. She's
Yeah.
the new.
Well,
she's also on there now. I think.
No, I just feel that they are a local organisation which were really
And if they want to get
struggling.
over it, the officer's name up there is someone called Elliot Allen,
Oh yeah.
who's a really good, he's a young officer and he's so enthusiastic, it's unbelievable, but you know, he is the person to phone up and he will give all the advice he can.
I'll give them a hint.
I think we need a project for it rather than.
No, it is a project, you can't ask for money because we're collapsing, it's got to be a project.
It could be a project of improvement of facilities or
Correct,
something
correct.
like
I'm
this.
just saying, if Christian speaks to them, you could.
They can.
Yes, let's just.
And they'll advise,
Yes.
that's what they do, they advise.
Phrase
Yep.
it, isn't it?
So please do it.
Can
Okay.
I just ask what happens after the 20th of June to the money?
Well, it all gets evaluated. What's the money? What do you mean?
Well, you say there's this money available
Yeah,
for community projects,
Yeah.
and the deadline is the
community
20th
grants,
of June.
yeah.
Sorry, community
So once
grants.
everyone has put their application in,
Yeah,
the committee then sit a month later to agree or not to agree it.
okay, so it's not like a pot of money that's got to be used up?
No. It's money that has been given by the district to the community, but it's all done on a grant system. So everyone goes apply for it, then it goes in front of a committee which is apolitical. So there's no politics on it at all, and then that's all agreed or agreed or not agreed or how much you're going to give, and then you get announced quite quickly. And then there's a winter round as well.
Okay, thank you.
So there's one coming in again in the winter.
Thank
So if
you.
they miss out in the
Yep.
summer, they can always do it in the winter.
Okay.
Secondly, there's something called, which is a government, it's a government fund that's been given to DDC, and it's all connected to the government's levelling up commitment. And over 3 years, they have committed to Dover District £1 million, allocated £99,000 this year, £198,000 next year, and £702,000 the year after. And it is for investment priorities which you've got to agree with that. So it's a slightly more complicated one to fill in, but it's for communities in place, supporting local businesses and people and skills. And again, I'll give you notes on it, and there's a website to do it. So it's slightly more complicated, but it's something you might want to do as a parish or you who have slightly more experience than a non-one. But it is money that's sitting there that we've been given by the government with their levelling up fund. So we've got exactly the same as in the district for levelling up fund in the middle of Dover, around Bench Street and things like that. And so that's slightly more expensive, but this is for local communities. but you've got to base it on communities in place, support local businesses and people and skills. So it's very much on the education side of life and people and skills and getting people back to employment.
Right, the mill couldn't in any way.
They might be able to hick into that, yes.
Well, I'm just thinking the mill certainly, they've got a terrific amount of work that needs.
Yeah, and it's skills,
Yes.
people, communities,
Yes.
place. But
You want
I'll
to-
send
you want to
it
have
all.
that,
I'll
please?
send that all through to you on please don't do next. I'll just send everything out
Yep,
tomorrow morning.
right.
Other than that, Chair, that's really about it. I'll
Thank
sit here for a bit, but I might have to go. But
Yeah, I want you here for one of the parish councillors' questions, just to see if you can throw something in on that.
no, I will do. I will do.
Yes.
It's not a problem.
Actually, I've also got a note here from Nigel. He sent
Collar,
a little,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, good.
a little report in as well. A couple of issues I will raise for you to advise the meeting of. The Dover District Local Plan is nearing the date when it will be published for consultation. That is anticipated later this year between October and December. We are keeping a close eye on the modifications for the Whitfield roundabouts and are being guaranteed by Dover District Council's planning policy and projects manager that these measures will not affect the work being done for getting the A2 improved, i.e. dualled. Turning to the major A2 dualling, I'm currently working with Natalie Elphick, senior officers and members from both KCC and DDC and representatives from National Highways on working up a scheme that has in principle been listed in the government's RIS3 road infrastructure schemes. It is the start of a long journey, but Natalie is now engaging with government at ministerial level. Another government project, namely the Inland Border Facility, that is also now being discussed at ministerial level, but to date there is no firm information. As has been widely reported in the media, KCC needs to reduce the subsidy given to a number of bus services. While we have no services directly listed, we do have it stated that some of the late night and weekend services for the 90 and 61 services are likely to have their subsidies removed. It now falls on the commercial bus operators to investigate whether they can still cover by possibly amalgamating services or working together in some way. So that's from Nigel today.
Right, thank you.
Can I just supplement the local plan, the Whitfield? There's two things I want to local plan. First of all, Whitfield, and that's now been agreed. That can actually go forward, which is Nigel agreeing about. So there is a plan now that's been agreed by KCC about the Whitfield, but the dualling is something different. That's up. The thing that's holding up the Whitfield is the other side of the district, and that's the Stodmarsh area, and it's all to do with nitrates coming down the Stour. And you find that out with Canterbury, Ashford, Mason, all in real problems, and so that's the other thing that's holding it up. We hope for it to go to 19 in September, and the Inland Border Facility. Yeah, that's Jacob Rees-Mogg and his thing. I don't think there'll be a lorry park, but I do know there'll be Port Health Authority will still go on in Bastion House. They're about to pull the plug, I think, on the Inland Border Facility.
Thank you. Right.
Nice waste of money.
We're going to move on then to parish councillors, and I'll be ungentlemanly. I will start with Patrick. It's just that he's got
It's all
three
right.
things I know he wanted to raise, and
I do.
I saved the best to last.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Right, I live next to the Dire, and water levels have dropped considerably recently. It is reported that a water company is taking quite a lot of water out of it at the top end. It's about this much less than it should be at this time of year.
Yeah.
Now, is there anybody to approach about this, or is there any way we can make inquiries as to whether this is considered by everybody to be appropriate?
Right, if I could stop Patrick there and say that's part of the reason why I was happy that Michael was here, and I wanted you as well, but
Yeah, no,
Michael in particular,
Sorry, I didn't know Michael's background.
Right.
English chalk streams and fish very much something that he's very interested in. So, do you want to go first, or
Please, let's just talk about chalk stream. I totally agree with you that there's been a huge fluctuation in levels. I have made investigations with the water company to find out the volumes of water they are extracting from the river. Now, that is a very difficult amount of information to get out of them. It might take some form of freedom of information out to get all the data. I've also been working with the Wild Trout Trust, which is a national organisation which is there to create and improve the habitat of chalk streams for riparian owners and councils. They not only basically advise on restructuring streams, but they give a lot of legal and political advice as well. So I think the first protocol is trying to have a relationship with the Environment Agency and have some form of dialogue with them. Living on a down myself for 10 years, my experience of the Environment Agency are people who come out in August with large drags and pull out all the good run-notice weed, which is the lifeblood. That keeps the flow up, by the way. We've got no weed in almost a mile of the stretch I've been along today at all. And that is predominantly down to two things. Shading will kill that weed, and the stream is far too overgrown. And secondly, low flow is the death of that weed. Once you lose that weed, all the invertebrates in there that are feeding the trout are gone. I mean, the trout in my stretch are being supplemented with trout pellets at the moment, and every morning there are probably 15 sitting under my tree waiting to be fed.
Simon, what level of the Dye are you at?
I'm on Mill Race, right,
okay,
on
got
Low
it.
Road, and we have a
Yes.
stretch of about 50 metres there.
Yeah, I'm on Low Road a bit,
Yes,
you
that's
know,
right, yes.
between
so,
the...
What I wanted to ask was, is there anyone we can bring pressure on? If can we in any way say you're withdrawing too much water, or I don't want to chase something that we can't get an answer on, but is there something we can do with the amount of water that is being taken out of?
Because it's within the district, so I've got my district hat on now, not KCC hat on. It is the Environment Agency, because we have this problem up at Sandwich as well.
Yeah.
And Sandwich with weeds and these sort of things. But that's by the by. So with the DAR down here, there are the Environment Agency are the gang to do, but it's who you contact within the Environment Agency.
Right, yeah.
So we have two officers within Devon District. One is called Richard Haynes. Have you come across Richard Haynes? Who does the White Cliffs Partnership. So he knows everywhere. He was on television the other day when they were plodding up and down things. So that's his organisation. So he's one person I can contact. And the other one is Darren Solly, who is sort of his number two, who works very close. So they have the contacts to the Environmental Agency, who are the people in charge. So could I give them your chair through you?
Yeah.
Because I don't think you will sort of deal with it.
I'm about to ask Michael
if I go straight to Michael, so you can speak.
Would you mind? Yes.
And I also feel
So could you start the initial conversations with them about who, your concerns and who you know, because they don't mind you doing it, because it takes more work off them. So they will allow you to, as a councillor, now you're allowed to attack the Environment
I will
Agency
get
with their
back out
back.
from the Wild Trout Trust. They did actual full report of the Dow for most of its length in around 2011. Now that's out of date by 10 years, but it's some very valuable information in there as well.
Thank you.
And I'm in regular contact with them, and this is the sort of project that they will assist me with without any cost involved.
Wonderful.
So if I liaise through the clerk, who can then, because I
Thank you.
Mike, I want you to know your email address. So if I liaise through the clerk through you,
Please, yes.
and so the names are Richard Haynes and Darren Solly, who are two very young and good officers, and they'll liaise with you, and they know all about Environment Agency. They contact the Environment Agency, and they're just as proud about it as you are. Especially, it all comes through the Russell Gardens, everything. So they know exactly where it all comes from as well.
But you can see why, when Michael, with his pedigree or his background, I had this question from Patrick, and therefore I felt
No, it's lovely. But if I could do it that way, and then if there are any problems after that, you can get hold of me.
lovely.
Can I ask a question about this?
Yes.
Because sorry if I'm just showing my ignorance, but we're talking about the water company taking water out of the out of the aquifer that feeds the Dower.
Correct.
What are the water company taking that water for? Is it to put water in our taps?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that aquifer is what feeds our water supplies.
Partially, yes.
Partially.
Not exclusively. You won't get that much water out of a 4 mile stream, but yes, that's exactly what they're doing. They're extracting water for household use.
Okay.
That's
And-
why I
and
asked the
short
question,
stream water
what is
is
there,
a lot.
what if anything can we do? If there's nothing we can do because it's
Well,
for,
You
Yeah,
can't do it as a
yeah.
parish, but if you get the district involved, then
Yep.
then the environment agency will then hit the water companies. That's
Yep.
the easiest way up on that
Yes.
one. isn't it?
Yeah.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah,
You're the expert. You were talking about shade, killing
Yeah.
the plants in
Yes.
the river. The shade is coming from the trees
It is.
that
Yeah.
grows around the river. Are those trees not indigenous to that river?
They are indigenous. I'm not saying that as an eco warrior, I'm not saying remove them because I'll tree rather than take them down. They need managing. The
Yeah.
watercourse needs more light to create life. Many of the areas are far too overshaded, and one thing the Wild Trout Trust does is to open that up considerably and get more light into the stream.
But the environment agency do. That's not
No,
their aim.
no, that's
That-
right.
They should do,
Yeah.
but it's not one of their priorities at the moment. That's the problem we're having with the staff.
On my stretch, this is not a problem. And also, to say something positive,
Yeah.
since they did the works up in the Abbey, our fish population has increased remarkably.
Yes,
And
I
we've
would
got
agree with
stuff
that,
like
yeah.
this coming
And
up.
we've got fish up to 2.5 pounds in our stretch.
Yeah, so have we.
Right.
Well, obviously, they have to
Yeah.
get through us to get to you.
What is most significant is the young trout in the river.
Yes.
It's certainly a good river with plenty of spawning rents for them to.
good.
Mm.
Sorry, if I could,
Yeah.
Tina, I'd asked the question because I was worried, why are they taking it? And I said, therefore, is there anything we can do? So you're absolutely spot on with what you asked. I'm thinking the same thing. If they're taking it, what are they using it for? And can we do anything to stop them? But
Oh,
if
right.
you could investigate and come back
Yes.
at
Mm.
next meeting,
Yes.
the meeting after that,
Yeah.
with some answers, then we know what we're looking at.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'll get the
Yeah.
guys to liaise to you.
But
next-
you're right, Tim. No, that's why I'd said I need to know. I won't chase something if it's an impossible dream that we're looking for to have the river flowing this high. Yes. Yep.
But I understand that the levels of water resources are lower at the moment than we would like. Consequently, that's probably why they have
Yeah.
more water.
But it should be quite high because the amount of rain we've had.
But
No,
it's not.
Yeah.
It's not
Right.
It's
If we
that
can.
much below.
Sorry. So I'm obviously watching time. If we can, we've got a course of action there at least.
Yeah.
Your second point.
My second point is something we can probably do nothing about. It's the increase in illegal fishing off the bridge.
Well, that's again why I wanted gentlemen in the corner here still.
Now, they are fishing illegally because they're fishing my side of the bridge, which is private land with
Yes.
riparian rights.
Yeah.
So that is illegal. What is more worrying in many ways is that they're dangerous to themselves and to traffic because they're standing on a bridge without a pavement, fishing in. Now, as I understand it, we can't get them prosecuted if they're under 14.
I think it's 12 the environment
Well,
That's tough.
but then you get into the problem of who's going to enforce it. They're under 12.
I know.
And if it's something like that, you should actually call the police in to do it because the bridge is your side of the land is owned by you, it's private. The bridge is probably Kent Highways
It is.
land.
And the other side, I think, is private as well. up
It's
to the
private as
races,
well, so
isn't it?
you get into this real problem, and then who's going to enforce it? That's your problem,
Yeah,
and it's
but we
a
will-
civil offence, so the police should do it. I will raise that again with these two people, Darren Solly, who are all into the fishing rights, but
But it's all riparian rights stuff.
unless
it's
you
all
turn around and
private.
say, let's give permits out to them, and they can fish it, and they
Well,
can
the thing
fish,
is,
but then you need
quite
environment
frankly,
to do it. No, I
Yeah,
know.
can't-
Sorry.
I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, but
Yep.
again, I'll get these guys to
A
do it.
yearly permit to fish for trout or horse fish is about £28 a year. The large majority of people I see hanging over our rails do not have licences.
No.
They may be young teenagers. A lot are much older and are quite abusive, so I have to be careful how I deal with them. But they certainly don't have licences. They're just chances that will come along and throw a
Yeah.
little bit of bread and then haul a trout out.
But also, of course, they are not entitled to fish in private waters anyway without the owner's permission. I could fish in my bit if I paid my 28 quid, but I see no reason to do so. But yeah, okay, so fine. I'm raising the concern, and it is not my speciality, so I had to do it.
Right. And your third, Patrick?
My third is the eternal telephone box.
Right.
Now, the telephone box, I thoroughly applaud the initiative of putting books in it. I mean, that's an excellent idea, but it needs to be properly managed and properly sorted. It is looking disgraceful at the moment. I think we have to do something about it to make it a feature, or there's no point having it there.
What exactly
Right.
looks disgraceful then?
Sorry?
The outside or the, do you
No,
think?
the
Well, the whole
outside.
thing
the-
is falling apart.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
getting-
yeah.
Well, it'll never fall apart.
But right, if I could stop and say, the phone box was being, I came up with a scheme which everyone said too expensive, it was going to go away, going to be refurbished, and it would come back like a new box. Absolutely gorgeous,
Yes.
but it cost us £5,000, and the answer was no, we won't do it.
Well,
Therefore, Mary said she had somebody that could do it, their local handyman. We've been waiting for that, and nothing has
Shall
happened.
I chase them up then?
Well, do you know who it is? And I don't want you doing it.
No, I'm not
I
paying
would
anything.
no, but I don't want you chasing them up, Patrick.
yes.
I would ask you if you have the name of this handyman,
I
if
don't.
you wouldn't mind taking on the phone box,
Yeah,
because
I'll take on the
Mary
phone box.
was doing it.
I know.
She had so much, and it's just stopped. And I, on principle, I wanted to do it properly.
I would agree with you.
Yes,
You know,
there's
but-
a lot of money.
Yes, yeah, so I'm just saying that, okay, but somebody needs to take responsibility for it, and my suggestion is, or request, Patrick, can you make contact with that handy person?
As I
and
go
come
to the
back
co-op every day and go past the phone
Yeah,
box, I
yeah.
can monitor what's going on there.
But can you say what is, and come back at the next meeting, we can then decide what is
I
happening.
get the notes from Mary and then I'll...
Yes, if you could email
Yeah.
me the details.
Yeah,
At the same time, I'll ask my own painting contractor, who is very good, to give me an idea of what
yep,
it would
yep.
cost for him to
We
do
need
the
to do
job.
something, it's been wallowing and
Well, somebody's been putting books in it.
yeah, we
Yes,
don't know who.
there's a bit of a
We don't
mystery.
know who.
Very good.
I'm like it.
But,
I
but the
like it,
annoying
but
thing is BT would have taken it away, made it all good and not cost us a penny.
You know what they would have done? They would put an advertising site in its place.
Well, they didn't say that, they would make
Yeah.
it good. And
But-
the implication
but-
of making it good would it would be flattened. We'd have
Yeah.
perhaps put another waste bin or something
But
like
we've agreed as a parish council that we would adopt it.
But not all of
and-
us.
No, you don't.
Yes,
Sorry,
but it was a
Chris.
majority vote.
We agreed. We agreed.
Sorry,
Sorry, Chris, please. We agreed as a parish council. We voted, and it was agreed that we would adopt it. Whether it was unanimous or not is neither here nor there. And once we've agreed, we agree. We don't then argue. Well, I didn't agree. It's rather like Brexit. Otherwise, we'd all be arguing.
A bit like the Northern Ireland
Yes.
situation.
Yeah. So,
Is
But-
it, but what I want to say is, can we not try and find out who's putting the books in, put our feelers out? and find out
we
who-
have,
and we haven't paid.
no.
Because could we not then ask them to join the parish council, because if they have got that initiative to do
Well,
something,
yep.
because
Well,
I know it's for different reasons,
I only
but
know
so
that-
far we haven't done anything.
the nurse...
Somebody has seen it and said,
Oh.
oh, let's do this.
Yep.
So
but
you've got to applaud the initiative.
we
that
have.
Somebody
Yes.
has done something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It works very well in Whitfield.
Nobody's
Well, it does
complaining
work.
about
No,
that
no, I
happening,
know.
but they
I
should have
know.
been putting them into a phone box that looked more presentable.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then
That's
obviously
the-
then they will need to be taken out
Yes,
when
but-
the thing
but
gets
let's-
refurbished.
But all I'm saying is, if you all agree, Patrick,
Yes.
contact the
Yes.
handyman. Let's come back if we can at the next meeting with
I'll write it down.
with an idea as to what we're going to do with that. We've agreed that we're going to make it look nice.
Yeah.
We've got to do
Present
that.
the alternatives.
Yeah.
Last intervention, when it's being refurbished, the books can go into boxes and go in my garage and go back again when it's refurbished. That's
Yep.
not a problem.
Yes. Yeah. Good. Right. Passing on, Chris.
Are the weeds still growing in there?
Yes.
They are, yeah.
Chris, do you have anything?
Oh, yeah, my comment was going to be, I'm sure you're all glad to see the likes of London Road from near the traffic lights right down towards Temple Ewell has all been resurfaced. and there's no doubt it's improved it.
Yep.
But I'm afraid to say they haven't completed the job because there's still some white lining to be done. And in addition to that, the drains, roadside drains, which were often suffering from being blocked, are now blocked through the residue of the tarmacking and resurfacing material. And one heavy shower we had again, and you had some a minor flood in the road. And I have made online application to wherever I was directed to KCC, and I've got a reference number.
Can you give me the rest? Do you have the rest of the number?
I haven't got it with me, but
Don't worry, I'll get hold of the local officer here, Steph Wadham, and I will just chase that up.
But it's just spoiling the job, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
the
no,
road
I
is
agree.
going to
I agree.
be
But
improved.
if the reference number, then I can get her the reference number,
Yeah.
and then we'll put your.
Okay.
Chris, if you could give the reference number to Andrew,
Yeah,
then Andrew
okay, I'll
will.
give-
Yeah,
Yes,
Andrew,
yeah.
Andrew,
Thank
I'll
you.
give you a couple of emails.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Right. Michael,
Yeah.
is there anything as a parish
No, I
councillor?
think I've
Yeah,
made
you've
my
done your
contribution
bit.
on the river.
You've got enough tasks to do
But I
that.
may say one thing, I've forgotten my pencil case, so I might need a biro.
Oh, tonight, yes.
So I'm thinking, yeah.
Oh, there we are, there's a lady with everything. Yes. Oh, well held.
Sorry.
Tina.
Well, they won.
But
So-
I
Yeah, I
can't,
know, we did.
I can't
So-
throw, sorry.
No, nothing.
Okay, and Christian.
Yeah, so I'd just like to say Fate went extremely well, we can all agree on that.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Well
I
done.
appreciate really everybody's help. I like to say today, especially our non-parish council volunteers who stood there by their stalls all day. We were extremely thin-staffed that day because we just hadn't had as many volunteers as we hoped for on the day, and it still went extremely well.
Yeah.
Weather held up, and I'm quite pleased with the result, really. All the raffle tickets, all the winners for the raffle have been contacted and all the prizes have been collected, especially David Beanie's voucher has been collected by a young
What did Davey win?
David Beanie put was it £100?
Oh, his voucher. Sorry, I think you meant he'd won one.
No,
Oh,
he
God.
had he donated £100 voucher for the yard,
Yes.
and a young 6 or 7-year-old won it. My dad was extremely pleased about that. So
Lovely.
they're all being collected or sent by post. So that's
No, I would like to say, Christian, on behalf of the parish council,
No.
we know how much work you put in.
Well, and
Yeah,
Mary.
number of people, yeah, and Mary, and I have thanked Mary personally and Robin, but thank you for bringing it all together and making it work. It was a real success,
That was
a
good.
brilliant, a brilliant day. It was a good day.
Have the Portaloos, is there any news
No.
on that? They
No.
just wanted us to keep them or
I think they're doing what
just
scaffolding companies do, which is leaving them in one place until they want them to put them
Yeah.
somewhere else. Probably
But they're locked up. Nobody can
no.
get into them. No. Right. I've got three things that I will bring up. Firstly, on Thursday or Friday, Andrew and I are meeting with Rangers Football Club. This is a junior football, discussing use of the recreation ground. With them being juniors, they don't need showering facilities, they're not allowed to use them. So we are discussing with Rangers possible use in one way, shape or form of the rec, which would be good.
Very good.
We also have a week on Friday, I think, or 2 weeks Friday, a meeting with Sport England, and that's Pauline, myself and Andrew. We will meet to discuss their objections to principally the changing rooms. They've got to understand the changing rooms are in absolute disrepair. The water's been forcefully cut off on demand notices from Affinity Water. So we're meeting them to explain, and hopefully we will then move forward and can decide what we are going to do or not with the changing rooms. And indeed, the clubhouse upstairs, we have explained that we have a lease on that, and theoretically we don't have planning to do that. And DDC have said yes, they realise it was partly their fault. We will resolve it one way or t'other, but they were very helpful, weren't they, Andrew, planning? And they were, you may look amazed, but they were very helpful.
It all comes under my portfolio.
Yes,
so I've
We-
never heard of it. So
We had a good meeting, and they said, look, we
With
know.
who? Do you know the name of
Yes, we do.
Sarah Platts.
Oh, she's nice, yeah.
Yes.
And Alice Pitts.
And Alice Pitts, who I didn't realise was Alice Pitts, but I had to pretend I did, because I was referring to Alice Pitts as a third party, and she was sat there. So yeah, but it was a good meeting.
Good.
So moving well on that, and I've also had an approach, and Clive also has, with regard to the church yard and the grass being cut only, I think, 10 times a year by DDC. It's this tall, it really is tall, it looks disastrous. So the person that approached me, I've said, go back to DDC, see if they will cut it more. If not, find out how much they would charge for maybe additional cuts. Come back to the Parish Council, and we may consider it as something that we would help with. It's a pity the churchyard, or the graveyard, is absolutely terrible. The grass, it must be 1 foot, 2 foot long.
That comes under my portfolio, and I'll get on to it in the morning.
Right.
Because yes, we're having problems across the district. There are two. As soon as the graveyard gets decommissioned, it comes onto us automatically by statute law, and so there are lots around. And not that there's a problem with cutting it, but they're having a problem recruiting people to cut. So but 10 times a year, and if it's that high, that's too much. They should be doing it every 5 minutes.
It's terrible. No, it's
so
terrible.
I'll get hold of the man that is getting hold of Michael, called Darren Solly, who's in charge of it, and I'll ask him what the score is.
Wonderful, thank you very
With
much.
my DDC hat on, not my KCC hat on.
Right.
And I'll tell David Beanie and Mark Razor that.
Thank you.
So Darren Solly's the Parks and Grounds man.
Yeah.
Right. That's everything under parish councillors. Questions from members of the public?
Yes, down Common Lane, you may remember quite a few years ago they put double yellow lines by the village hall, which we weren't happy about at the time, and they were still put outside there. It's now got to a situation where people are parking on the other side of the road.
Yes.
And so
By
it's
that fence.
very, very dangerous.
Co-op are finding it that when they've got any big lorries, they can't come down because they're parked, they're coming down the road, past.
But are we suggesting yellow lines on both sides of the road then?
Well, it would be outside Weaver's house, Weaver.
Yes.
Outside there, because I think if we're not careful, we've had people come into the hall when we've been in the village hall on a Saturday, asking them, please, where's the car and will they move them? Because the cars can't get there.
What is that?
Kent Highways, and I'll put it up through the system. It takes a long time
Yes,
to do it.
that's the only thing. But it means
So once we start the ball rolling, it will start. But we have to keep on reminding them.
Away two of the parking spaces which were very, very valuable to the village hall.
Yeah.
but
That all goes out to consultation when they first do it. So
Yeah.
that's by the by. Now we can look forward and what we want to do now, and it all goes down to the highway. So I'll look into that.
Would you mind? Yeah.
At the time they told us they'd put these WAs a certain length, and they did that, and then they came back and repainted them and put them further down.
That I don't know about. That's probably before my time.
Oh,
Yes.
let me-
Well, this is why we said if they'd left that 1 or 2 spaces at the
We should
bottom,
get more.
we wouldn't have the problem we've got now.
I will.
Okay.
If I could I look into that?
there we are, the right person here. Sorry, Patrick.
Sorry,
you wanted
can
to
I
say
just ask
something
a
on that?
question on that? Because in a previous meeting we did say we were going to try and get somebody to come down and look at our difficult parking spots in the area, as I recall.
Yes, we still are.
Yes.
Is any progress being made on that? Because I'm having I'm having a few problems getting down my little bit. We're only talking about 3 or 4 yards of a bit of line, and the whole problem will be sorted. Yeah?
Well, what they were saying was that they want us to renew our highway improvement plan, and then they will come down and talk about it. Not come down in
send a little drawing then.
And over
Okay.
the past month, it
It
just
is the highway improvement plan.
Yep.
It's the one thing that
Just
no
not
one
from
gets.
one
Now we have particularly narrow pieces that people who don't know it, where lorries get stuck at 4 in the morning all the time. People are parking legally, but-
Yep.
Mm.
Right, thank you very much. Sorry, I wanted you just, there were two
No,
or
no,
three,
right, that's why
two
I'm
or three
staying here
things
for the public also
I
to come in.
needed,
And then when you get them to
to
planning,
sort out, yep,
I'll run away.
thank you. Right.
Don't trip up
Any
your own
other, sorry, any other questions?
Nick, along Lower Road, it's now getting very, very dangerous as you're coming up past the mill. Cars are driving right down the middle. And before long, someone's going to have a head-on crash. And the speed they're coming down there. I come up there a lot because you know I live opposite Meadowdean and I drive into Dowside. And the number of times that people are in the middle of the road, you know, I've had to pull over and stop. And I mean, in all fairness, the cars today are twice, nearly 2 cars, and that fills the road up. There's nowhere to pull to the left or to
Yep,
the right.
right.
Can I come back on that?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, we have actually brought this up, and it is in our plan, because it was raised to me by Malcolm Ely, and he said, why don't we have priority to traffic coming one way or the other? So that is on our traffic plan, but
But the other thing, Nick, is a lot of them. I know when you come out by Meadowdean, you know, we come down
Yes.
the road and you stop, right? There's a T-junction. People don't stop, they just go. And, you know,
In my parish, not my parish, my ward, which is in the district, is Munge and Ripple. And Ripple, they had 2 serious car accidents, and they're still not improving it. And these were 2 deaths. And so you as a parish have to gather the data.
yeah.
So the Ripple have got a speed awareness, or not speed, what do you call those guys, the zap guns that people come through in the morning. And they've also got those little bits of wire. And so, and that they've been doing it for 5 years.
We're doing speed watch.
The speed watch.
yeah.
Speed watch, that's it.
Yeah.
Speed watch, and the wires that go across. So you've got to gather data, which then goes into your highways improvement plan, which you then put up to Kent Highways, because they are loath to do anything unless you can prove it in actual data. So yes, I know the road.
You know, it is,
yes,
well, Nick knows
Yeah.
it very well.
Yeah.
yes, yes. But
But it is a problem you're fighting.
yes,
Yeah.
No matter how many people you get down there
You
going doing
have
it.
to notice up to say, keep to your left, you know, because they might not be going down the road, they might be
There is the
turning
whole district,
Yes.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
You go into Sandwich, you can see the problems. You go into
Yes.
Deal, it's the same problems they're doing. London Road and Deal, there are people flying down there, but you've got to get all the data to pass it on. And they're loath to doing the slowing things, like these little barriers that come out and you have to wiggle around. They're
We all
loath.
are because of our shopping
yes.
malls.
But we have looked at the mill area in particular,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
are saying
Corner.
that will be, or the idea is we're asking, it's on the plan, that we have priority to traffic in one direction. Because at the moment, as you say, it's a accident waiting to
Yeah,
happen,
accident waiting to
and
happen.
everyone is sort of daring the person coming towards them to keep on coming. I mean,
And they
it's
do,
terrible.
that's right, they don't stop
Yep.
as they're coming down past the mill.
Yep.
And you're coming up, you're
Yep.
facing with all its traffic.
And unfortunately, we cannot get 20 miles an hour on that. We've got it on the other stretch of Lower Road. We
Yeah.
definitely won't get it on there, or we're
No.
told virtually
It seems to
impossible.
be getting, I'll be honest, because I can't get into Byland Road very well. You know, when you come along and you know to turn into Byland, I find it quicker now to go along Low Road. But every time I come up there, it's not one car I'm talking about. I would say
And there are wires.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is as well when the junction at Kersney by the Bowls Club is busy coming out onto London Road. People coming out of the Orkham Valley think, I'm not going to queue there, I'm going to go along Lower Road, and then it's becoming a rat run, and you can't help that. Yeah, no. So point taken, but honestly, that is on the plan, isn't it, Andrew?
I just thought it seemed, because
Yep.
you see, there's no lines on that road.
There is a line, surely.
No,
Which what on the road
On
coming?
Lower Road.
not
No.
by the
No,
water.
but
By
But-
from
Because of
Meadowdean
Lido.
down, If you're
Yeah, from
outside
Meadow
the
Dean,
mill-
no, there's no, you can't have a line in the middle of the road because it's not wide enough
Wide.
to
No.
put
No,
a
I
line.
know, but
But
that's
I
what I'm
thought you
trying
meant
to
there was
say,
no
you know.
line off the
Yeah.
junction.
Well,
The
that's why
junction is,
people
the
don't
junction,
know.
sorry, the junction that they're coming straight out of,
You've got a
that is
T-junction,
lined,
and that's
yes,
on the floor.
yeah, yeah.
But when you come round, and of course, they've done work in Valley Road, you look like past Meadow Dean and going up that way, but they've got no white lines in the middle of the road. So of course, outside Meadow Dean, there's no lines, and everybody just thinks it's just one way. No.
Yep, I
It's
don't
how
know.
we improve that.
Yes.
But unfortunately,
Yep.
in this day and age,
And we know how long it's taken us to get 20 mile an hour.
yeah.
Patrick keeps moaning about, but we are really pushing that
Yeah,
hard.
so they've
We're,
got no
we're now
roads.
waiting for an invoice for £2,500.
Yeah.
But no, that certainly the mill is on the plan, and we'll look at the road. But
It is.
yes, right. We're going to move on to planning.
Can I go?
Yes,
As
of
soon as
course.
you
Yeah. No, thank you
But I
very
don't
much.
think there are any controversial planning ones, are there? There's a
All
couple of
straightforward.
trees-
No
couple of
trees.
Mostly trees, aren't they?
One conversion of a garage. So no. Thank you very much.
No,
Very
problem, Jeff.
useful.
Thank you very much
Thank
indeed.
you.
Take care. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Right, normally I'd say to Pauline Beresford over to you, but Pauline's not here tonight. So,
I think you have got the there. First one is 5 Badgers Rise, which is fell 5 ash trees, reduced 5 sycamore trees by approximately 5
Yeah.
to 6 metres.
the ash trees are, it says, diseased, or appears to indicate they're diseased, which ash die back. And the sycamores, yes, it's
Badgers Rise.
That's right.
Is there do we have a report from a
No,
tree
that's-
surgeon or?
No, those are the only documents that have been submitted with that.
Right, should we possibly,
Yeah,
Not
that's
say
the
that-
standard form then, yeah.
should they not ask for some form of, evidence from a tree surgeon or someone that the work needs doing?
Well, they do indicate that on the form. I haven't
They
seen
do
filled out
say,
these forms.
but we normally ask that
Yeah.
it's substantial, because they're saying the trees, the ash trees have been monitored by the owner for a few years, getting gradually worse, but the full extent will not be possible to tell until the height of summer. So there's some doubt as to, I don't say doubt, but 2 trees fell in Storm Eunice, damaging neighbouring property, so apparently there was 7 of those there at one stage,
Yeah.
and there's now 5. I know we normally ask if there is, or the DDC council, they have a tree expert as such, that
Well, it will be down to.
it should be down to the, yes,
We're
yeah,
down to this Madigan, haven't we?
Yes.
Apart from the thingies, like.
yeah.
Well, he's got
Darren.
this Leaf Tree Services as an agent, so they should have supplied that really.
Which one, that's on
He's
here?
got agent details, Tom Ledger, Leaf Tree Services. So you had a tree surgeon look at it.
Yeah, it does, the paperwork further in.
There should be, there must be a report then.
These
They're not
trees
a protected area or a conservation area, are they? Don't know.
No, but they are subject
Ah,
to
yeah,
tree
please
preservation.
enter
Oh,
the
those-
title of number for each of the relevant tree preservation order.
In which case the council should look at it.
Tree
What's the
preservation
downside?
order.
So can I show my image yet again? If you've got a tree that's got a TPO and it's dying and we get a wind and it blows over and it damages your neighbour's property, who's responsible for the neighbour's property?
The
When
person
you
whose
want,
tree blew over.
Yes.
so you're not allowed to chop it down.
Oh, you are, if you can prove it needs shotting it, yes.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
yes, yeah. No, we're not saying you can't, but we can't say, yes, cut it down if someone's got to say there's a reason for cutting it down.
If
But
the
I
health of the
certainly am
tree.
insured
Yeah.
against my tree falling out
Yeah.
and damaging
Yeah.
somebody else's property, you know,
If it's a healthy good tree, you can't shut
Yes,
it
but
down.
what they're saying is
If
these
it's
aren't
healthy,
healthy.
yeah, then
Well, they
They've been
think-
monitored.
might be able to allow it,
Yeah.
but it's usually,
Darren Sonic, sure.
yes.
Well, the council do have a tree expert, don't they, that would,
Well, I haven't
Just speaking
So-
to this morning.
so, no objections, but we just make a note that we would expect DDC to inspect that the work does actually need carrying out, because you're right, we can't say no, but someone's got to actually say yes, they are a danger, or no, they're not, and that should, well, that would be DDC. Yep,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. But if
And
you
the
say no,
second
it's
one
damage,
is
yeah.
another tree,
Yeah,
one ash this time. It's just reduced back to previous reduction points. One ash, again subject to tree preservation order, the land between Hazeldown Close and Cowper Road.
So it has been
It has previously been.
trim cut, and they're asking, so again, I would suggest we
Where
say
is
that.
that then? I mean, the
There was a plan there somewhere.
I haven't got one.
Um,
Which number Hazeldown Close?
It-
I'm
No
Hazeldown
number, it
Close.
just said land between.
Oh, I am on
T1
that now.
ash tree, so it must be on this board, is it?
That's my land.
T1, there it is. Have you,
Can I have a look at it?
yeah, that one.
Oh, nice, I put my house number in. Just one. Okay. Oh, here. I had a notice on mine, somebody further up put an application in.
so I mean, surely again,
This again, Tom Ledger, it's busy. They put the notice on my doorstep and then I put it a few houses up.
but this ash tree has got a preservation order on it, so certainly DDC will have to give the go-ahead on that, won't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, that falls down to DDC.
Yeah,
There is a 1977 is a preservation order
23.
number.
it's the check.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, and the third planning,
The third one is 12 Chiltern Avenue, which is conversion of a garage, installation of roof light and alterations to rear.
do we have plans on that one? Or?
Yes,
Yes.
it's the one with the,
Mm.
it's the one with the drawings.
I haven't got that one.
There's an existing and a proposed drawing.
Do we?
Oh,
Anyone got it?
I got it.
Yep.
Download drawing.
well, they're not increasing any volume, are they? I mean,
They're going to put a roof light in, obviously going to replace the garage door
yeah.
No, it's.
and alterations to rear.
This is what they're
Well,
proposing.
Oh, pretty obvious to me.
No, that's,
So-
I've not.
Where is this?
It's Cliff. It's
12 Chiltern Avenue, Wingate, 12 Chiltern.
Chiltern.
Sorry, no,
Well, that's Darren's Temple, you know.
no, never mind, that's.
Chiltern.
But that falls in the river Parish Council, that part, doesn't Chiltern that way.
Chiltern Avenue, where's that?
You go along towards Queensney Abbey, Bushy Rough on your right,
After
and
the-
it's just after the row of terraced houses, I think, is it?
Ah,
Is it?
could be, yes.
Let me Google map it.
Sorry, I'm lost.
I can
But,
find it.
I didn't recall it, but I get it
it's
on
either
the
there
record.
or I've got somewhere else in mind.
I look on Google.
But you're saying it doesn't affect, it's not an increase in size, it's
No.
size, it's just,
Should understand.
which is a fairly basic thing people are doing everywhere.
So they're converting their garage into living space, so the garage is not available to put the car in.
Yep.
Not that any garages are big enough these days.
Well, they seem to
Exactly,
have off-street parking, I think that's not a problem.
Do they have off-street parking?
Well, looking at the size of the plot, I'm sure they could have.
But do we know that?
They've got big trees out in front of those houses up in Chiltern Avenue.
I'm
Right at the
Yeah.
very top.
I just thought it was Temple Ewell.
Yeah,
Look,
well, just check, we're
opposite
gonna put
where-
our Google
opposite
Maps there
Bushy
for
Rough.
it, yeah.
Here's Bushy Rough, the lake,
Yeah.
and just opposite is that little sidey road, yeah?
The right at the very top.
This is where the cottages are. And then
River to the
park.
left,
And then you
Temple
go that
Hall to the
little-
right.
little-
Yeah.
Oh, sort of up the side of the
Yeah.
Abbey,
Yeah.
where there's new car park is up there.
The car park
towards
is
the
here,
top.
and then next to the car park is that little bridle way.
And is that
Yeah.
Chiltern Way?
This is
Yeah, that's right, yeah. There's
This is
the Alton
what I was
Valley,
going
you
to
go along
affect.
Bush,
Yeah,
Mm.
past Bushy Rough and,
Chiltern Way.
just on the left Abbey Road and then into
So-
Chiltern Avenue.
We're not going to be woodging up any busy roads.
No.
No, it's very quiet.
Outside
no.
the house.
The house, didn't the house next to it had quite a big...
People coming in out of the car park.
I mean,
there.
Should we not possibly put it in with comments that obviously as long as DDC are comfortable with the amount of parking that is available,
Yeah.
they're losing the garage?
It's quite
Yep.
a big wide space
Yep.
with
Yes.
the wide trees on the
Yep.
right hand side. You
Yeah.
don't give
So I think if we do
It's
that,
an man-made road.
Is that-
yes.
Yeah,
Is
I
that-
I know
Yeah,
where
you've
it
got to
is.
go
I
up Abbey
can't
Road
think
to it,
of
yeah.
Look, we've got Google Maps up.
Yeah.
Right. I think if we just put that, as long as DDC are happy, there's sufficient parking. Yep. But you say, I bet the garage has never been used for a car for years.
No.
No, mine isn't.
Yeah.
Ever.
Mine isn't. Too small.
Haven't gone through that.
Right.
Too many golf clubs.
Moving on then to note any decisions made by DDC. Andrew?
I've got a couple of decisions. The application that we had, 30 Minutes Lane, erection of an outbuilding under existing carports for the use as a dog grooming business. That was a retrospective
Oh, we had
application.
Yes, I remember
That
that
was
one.
granted.
Yes, remember that one.
You may also be interested that the Kersney Railway Station application,
Oh.
which was the three-storey blocks incorporating 12 flats, has been refused.
Right,
Good.
good. That's
We recommended against it, is that recall?
And also, a couple of months ago, we had an application for 7 and 8 Riverdale. Again, it was trees being cut back, and consent has been given for that.
good. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Right, moving on to item 9, financial matters. Andrew, over to you.
Right, now you've got, I think you've all got it.
Yeah.
Yes. Can I have that one? Yes.
I'll have to look over it rather than read
We're
it.
short here.
So it's 2 months, April and May. Costs for the recreation ground, the usual standard things, groundwork, cleaning, refuse collection, electrical supply. We've had a wastewater bill, which I'll have to have a look at, but we're constantly getting estimated bills, which I don't understand.
Because we are getting, the bowls club, we are charging them for everything they use here. Yes. And we have meters there, so we, yep.
Nobody reads meters for you anymore, do
We
they?
do, we do.
Yeah, yeah,
We read them ourselves,
Yes,
yes.
so do I,
Yes.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
Do you not have smart meters there?
They're very clever, I don't know. Yeah, no,
Not for the...
no,
Not
we-
water,
no.
we don't have smart.
Not for what, well.
no,
The smart meter, our Wi-Fi in the recreation ground is basically for the CCTV, and the position where it is, the thickness of the walls is such that the Wi-Fi won't reach to where the meter is, so it's kind of a smart meter. So obviously parish handyman monthly costs, we are grant to the mill to assist with the beer festival security. The grant to River Preschool, I had confirmation that they
did use that for the
Yeah.
purpose, yep, good.
the £50 grant towards the party for elderly residents.
Yes, Sue Nicholas did say she was coming tonight and she was going to thank us for that, so she actually did mention that on her Mrs Dale's diary.
She's very probably
Yes.
online.
Yes. No, it's not online, it's
It's
going to
not
be,
online.
Recording it, but
We
not,
re- yeah, they'll go out tomorrow.
and bank charges. And then May, pretty much same thing. We had our annual play inspection, safety inspections. I'll need to go through that at some point. No particular red flags. So replacement PRs on the security lighting and refuse collection. And then the parish accounts, meeting hall hire, starting to, the costs for the Jubilee event obviously starting to come through, bank charges again, etc. And then there is but I haven't got the bank statements with me to verify the balances, but we are very, the Unity Bank account is now open, and I'm waiting in the next week that the balance of the deposit accounts is the first one to go across to Unity, and at that point we can start using the new account. I'll have to leave the current account open until we've got things coming in from the fate, because the old account was the account details given out for payments. So I'll probably leave that open until mid-July, something like that. But then we'll be on the new accounts and hopefully paying everything online, which will be a lot easier. And it's about, I think we've got a 25p difference, which I don't worry about too much. It could be the starting figure, although the starting figure looked correct, but I'll leave that to our internal auditor. Our last year's books will go to the internal auditor in the next week or so, and then come back for formal approval at the next meeting in July.
Right, anyone got any comments with regard to accounts?
No, just as a matter of interest, because our village handyman gets paid the same thing every week, as it's a forfait, is it? It's just a...
Yeah, same as
Yes.
yours. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yes, and he obviously does far more hours than we pay him for, being honest, but he's brilliant. Yes.
Yeah, I know. Bravely.
Right. Thank you, Andrew, for those. Brilliant.
And then item B.
River Village Hall. We have traditionally contributed £250 a year to the Rival magazine. Because of COVID not meeting and not being asked, we actually haven't made any contribution in respect to the Rival for 3 years. We normally donate £250 a year, so the suggestion is that to put the matter right, we contribute £750 towards the Rival, being 3 years. We've not paid for 2 years, and they've obviously incurred the costs.
Do they give us an income and expenditure breakdown of their advertising revenue?
I don't have it with me, I'm afraid.
Sorry?
I don't have it with me.
Oh, no, but there is one. I just wondered. I'm just
Yeah.
We
interested
have
about
to,
so.
the accounts are audited every year,
Yep.
regardless whether the
Oh,
board is
yes,
open
yes,
or
yes.
shut.
Yep.
Can
But
you
we've
give us a
done-
rough idea what your income is then from advertising?
From the Rival, do you mean?
Yeah,
Something like about 4,000.
4,000.
And we're now paying about, I think it's 1,800. It's gone up quite a lot, the printing.
We've traditionally donated £250 year on year. We haven't for 3 years, so we're looking simply to put back to the village hall what, if they'd been here, they would have been asking us for. They've not been at the meeting, so it's to catch up with that which we haven't paid to them.
That sounds very fair.
Yep.
Well, it depends whether they need it or not, doesn't it?
I think they do.
But I think
We've got quite an
It
income.
funds
Such a
the
good
village hall.
community
It's
thing,
not just
that's-
funding itself as a Rival itself, it funds the village hall.
It's not as though
Yeah.
we don't have the money.
Correct. Correct.
Ah, got
Right.
a telephone box to do it.
And also,
Fair enough.
one thing I would say, if it wasn't for the Rival, you wouldn't be happy, because in the last edition of Rival there were 6 pages from the Parish Council.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
We need the Rival.
Oh, no, I
It's
think
like
it's
our-
very
As
worthy
a
magazine.
contributor, I'm a great fan of it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
But I think it could actually look at perhaps becoming an electronic publication,
No.
reducing the cost.
It's
No.
already online.
There is an electronic publication, but we've
So
still
are
had...
either of you two ladies Helen Deer by any chance?
No,
Oh,
No,
right. So
I'm the chairman of the village hall.
Oh, right, okay.
I put the electronic version on our website, but we have still had people who want a paper copy, and actually somebody has said if it wasn't a paper copy, they would no longer be prepared to edit the Rival.
Yeah, well, I'm a great fan of it. I'm writing in there a Nature Watch page every month, 2 months. under the pseudonym or pen name of Water Rail. So I'm a great fan of this.
Right, if I could then ask for a show of hand, those in favour of a 750, yep, against, or 2 abstainers.
Two
I'm
abstainers.
certainly for it, so yes. £750, ladies. Thank you very much. The village appreciates arrival. Right. General correspondence. Have we any, Andrew?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, very time's not
First one, I had a letter from Vicky Thomas. Just saying, dear all, I just wanted to say how truly touched and grateful I am for my community award. It was a total surprise, and you might have been able to glean from my stunned demeanour, but a lovely one, and I will treasure it. So
She was,
Well deserved. I think.
it really was, yes.
Yeah.
Here, yes.
We're so lucky to have her in the village.
Second one, I've had notification of the micro-servicing, which is going to be taking place on Lewisham Road and Crabble Road. Our programme starts on the 21st of June 2022 and should take 5 days to complete, not including the weekend. These activities will be undertaken during a working window between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m.
Sorry, microservicing.
Does-
That is resurfacing.
Does that affect the bus service? Because it's obviously it's the last.
Well, I'd imagine it will. Yeah, it's,
Because obviously it's I'm talking about personal here because it's the last week of GCSE and the kids need to be on time at their schools for the last week. And no, nothing.
I can't see anything about it. I mean, normally with these, they put in they work on one side at a time, don't they?
So it's a risky thing then. If
I can ask them for
Last time they were doing smoke up there and getting the odd bus down Lower Road, which is totally unsuitable.
well, people come from my end and to consider that in the morning, then that they have to march all the way over to Lower Road from the Ridgeway up there.
Oh,
no,
no,
but
it's,
getting a bus down Lower Road is hit and miss anyway.
No, it does actually say during these essential works it will be necessary to close the road completely so that we can carry out the works safely for both the workforce and road
I've seen that.
users. Diversion route will be Lower Road, Valley Road, River Street, Menace Lane and Lower Road. So,
Alright.
Trouble is, nothing. It's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
Andrew, could you
Well, they
just,
get a
sorry,
few little
could I
drafts.
ask you the date?
yes,
Just
well,
that minute.
21st.
21st of
June.
programme
Tuesday.
to start, which is
Tuesday.
not the same as it will start.
but by my recollection, when they were putting buses down Lower Road last time, they didn't put the bus stops.
No,
Yeah, great.
Exactly.
You know, you
It's,
think that it needs to be actually reliable for that week, and it's not.
They need a temporary bus stop by the road oak or something if they're coming down there.
It's add too much stress level.
Carrying on.
Well,
And
I'm
then
working
one,
that
I
day,
have had
and we need to be at 9 o'clock in school.
3 letters of complaint about the fireworks. One from
You know, my daughter.
lady in Mannering Close. We live in Mannering Close. We're pleased to receive your considerate letter informing us about the firework display. We have a dog who is terrified of fireworks and has to be sedated during the bonfire night activities. And when we read that the fireworks were special reduced noise and were only 10 to 15 minutes, I decided not to sedate her. However, when the fireworks began, the noise was deafening, some of the loudest we've ever experienced, and consequently the dog was very distressed. They may only be for 10 minutes, but the effect on our dog lasted a long time. I suggested if the fireworks were sold as having a reduced noise level, the seller needs to be held to account. Sorry to have to complain, but we need to be informed correctly. Another one from Lady in Dow's side.
I will admit, no, I not complained, but they were very, very frightening, because I think it was overhead, and most probably the lady in Mannering Close was more or less in my back garden, you know.
Received a letter from the Parish
Don't
Council
stop,
informing you of
but
reduced
there's a gun
noise
door, so-
fireworks. Seems as if the fireworks were being lit in my rear garden because of the rattling sound, the intense volume was so very close. My dog was terrified. I'd like to report I have several amounts of orange-coloured debris and a tube on my flat roof at the property. The rain has not washed the debris and stains away. Always, it is very messy. I await your reply. And then the third one was actually from Whitfield. I understand that your councillors were responsible for a firework display on Jubilee evening. This took place after 21:30. I live in Whitfield where a large firework in the direction of the river display terrified my dogs. He did attempt to send me a video clip, but it didn't make it through. This short clip shows my hyperventilating, shaking and salivating 8-year-old Springer. 2-year-old Springer was hiding. The reggae music towards the end of the clip would attempt to drown out the noise of the fireworks. So say the video didn't come through. Was this your display? I await your response.
I have to say, I was very surprised at how loud they were.
I think we all were.
Yeah,
They
I
were.
was.
I mean, I love fireworks.
So do I.
I enjoyed them, but yes,
So,
I
yes,
do
I
know
was
that for a lot of
surprised.
people,
I mean, the brief was noise reduced,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
a bit, okay, we did say a little bit of a crescendo at the end.
Yeah, that
The
was the
last-
unfortunate bit. It's got all the dogs frightened.
but they were actually they started off subdued or
We
quieter.
had quiet moments.
Oh,
Yeah, and then suddenly bang, but I love fireworks, so
I
but
do too.
but
And
unfortunately,
I get my noisy ones either, but I was just thinking, oh, would you, what a
Yes.
good idea.
Yes,
Yeah, I
so
thought
did
it was
I.
a- But when they went up, I was like,
and then I said to
When the
my wife,
first bang out,
gosh,
off, I
they're
thought,
noisy.
Yeah, sorry.
yeah. No, I think all we can do is to say that we had ordered. I think we ought to respond to the letters.
I
Just to
think
say
we
that we're sorry, we had specifically ordered noise-reduced fireworks, and yeah, going forward, we'll obviously, if it happens again,
I would
try to
ignore
ensure that they are
Quite
indeed
a-
noise-reduced.
Yeah, I think that's
I
true,
mean,
Brett.
Yes,
do we have
I think
any
we ought to.
recourse from the suppliers of the fireworks?
What should we ask for? Money off? The Queen's pageant? You know, no, you can't
How about
ask for money back, can you?
Well, there were noise reduced. They had these middle bits where they had.
Oh, there were. No, I said it started
Yeah.
off and
Yeah, then
certainly
we saw a
initially,
sudden crack.
and then whack, it went up, and I thought, no, but they were noisy. They were, but not all of them. They were
Yes.
some noise-reduced fireworks. I loved them, but I know that a lot of people don't like them.
Yes.
So I think reply to the letters. We're sorry, we did ask for noise-reduced fireworks.
We
can
ourselves
do-
were surprised.
we
and
can
we'll
do
take
no
it on.
more than to apologise, but what recourse can you have for them? Because
No, but
they were.
when it comes to the Queen's 100th birthday,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
we'll be
bit
there
optimistic.
for, I think we should go
We
to
have
a
the
different
laser show.
firework
We
company.
just have
Yeah,
a laser
you
show,
don't
like
ask
I
Charles
said
that
before.
way.
and
No,
We will have a laser show.
I love fireworks, but they were noisy. I was surprised.
I was
yeah,
very
yeah.
surprised.
So no, I've got 3 letters of apology, and I think there's okay. They were reduced, but not all of them were reduced.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
The brief was
Yeah.
reduced, but it allowed
Oh.
a little finale.
No, but we're not in any way
Oh.
criticising you and the organising, but
Well,
Yeah.
As again,
And I
as we
was
can please some
surprised-
of the people some of the time, but not all the
Yes.
people.
That's
Yeah.
very
That's what
true,
those
but
are.
I think that we should apologise because we did advertise it as reduced
Yes.
noise and they were very loud.
I
Yes.
think
Well, I didn't think so, but
Oh, did you?
no, but at the top of London Road.
oh no, when you were in a recreation
Oh,
ground.
I've got it.
Wow.
Full on.
Yes,
I
yeah,
do.
no, they
And
were,
so
they
we
I
were.
went straight away.
apologise.
Uh-oh.
Yes, yeah, and we all
Well,
looked
if you
nice.
lived in Essex, I can assure you, you'd find that from about the end of September through to the beginning of the new year, they go like every night up there.
Right,
Somebody's
so
on the
we've
phone.
got 3 letters going out apologising, and yeah, we won't make the same mistake again.
What about this? I mean, I did notice because I was there until they finished. They were going round with torches, looking for debris, but obviously they didn't know it was on the
Well,
other
they
side.
can't go in people's
So-
gardens.
So what about this orange-coloured debris and a tube on the flat roof of the property of the lady in Dow's side?
Was that number 7?
7.
bottle of wine.
Yeah, it looks like a 7. Is that 7 or 9?
What number
7.
one? Let me show you.
7.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised with that from them.
Shall I go there and pick it up then?
No, you've got to get on a flat roof.
I can
Health
tell
and
my
Okay.
safety.
I can ask John Hill to do it otherwise.
7.
She's got a healthy young son who could do it.
True.
Who did that?
Yeah.
lady?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
But I
Letter.
think it as a
Sorry.
gesture of goodwill to say, we're sorry, ask if it's John Hill.
Yeah, no, I'd suggest we'll get
To
someone
go
round to
and
it.
do it.
I'll ask John to do it. If just 7 Dower side. No, it is trying to keep people on our side. So, yeah.
And I think,
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Let's face it,
I think that's fair. Let's
Three
put it on
letters.
and we'll.
3 letters is a pretty good score, if you see what I mean.
Yes, but
I'm
we were
surprised
all
to say.
we were all surprised, and
Most of the people loved them.
they were lovely.
I loved them.
They were absolutely lovely,
they were-
Christiane. Really enjoyed them.
John was not impressed.
Right. Okay. So
Right. You know.
items for information. Anything?
Nothing additional.
No. Anyone got anything else before we close the meeting?
Just confirm next meeting's date, please.
Which will be
Which will be second Tuesday in July.
2nd Tuesday as normal.
May I say that I intend to be here. I intend to arrive back in England at midday, but I'm at the mercy of transport problems. So if I'm not here, I apologise in advance. And if I'm not